What is up, everybody? This is Jack. Welcome back to Golden Dice Podcast, episode number 43. We got a big one, a special one here for you tonight. We've got every relevant member of the Golden Dice Podcast on our show. I'm excited. Brian, Scott, and Tommy are all here. There's 4 of us. This is the most we've ever had. This is exciting.
Shane just swerved his car on his commute to work. He was like, every relevant, what?
He's like,
D-House wanted me on a podcast. I'm relevant.
Yeah.
I asked him twice if he was coming. He said no.
I mean, to be fair, none of us have been asked to be on Jedi Trials.
This is true.
Only
I
Shane.
I just want to say, D-House, I would come on Jedi Trials. I love Red Hero. I think Padme's busted.
She is. She's the top of my list. We'll get into what we want to pull, but she's my number one. But how are all you guys doing tonight? You all good? All living life?
Yeah.
Stupendous.
Yeah. He's stupendous. Okay.
Be a lot better if I had my boxes.
Truth.
We tried to bribe our local store into being like, if you let us come in at midnight, we'll buy extra boxes, and they said no.
I mean, to be fair, I definitely called in and ordered another box.
Brian.
That's why they did it. They're like, this guy's going to buy another box anyways.
Listen,
you have to be willing to follow through with it. Buying the extra box without the stipulated let us get in at midnight to get our stuff, now they just know that they have you.
Yeah, if you're gonna be our Watto, you got to be able to barter better than that. You got to haggle. You got to undercut. You got to be more ruthless.
Yeah, your Matrix don't work on me. I'm a Dondarrion.
Only early closings.
How many?
I want to take Brian's voice right there and then just play like Watto and just see if people are able to guess, like, which one is Watto and which one is Brian.
That's a good point.
I think he has a soundboard.
Hey, Brian.
You wish
Brian.
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
How many Sith Infiltrators did you buy?
0, actually.
0?
Hey, Convergence is coming out this week. I can't spend money on X-Wing yet.
You just bought a
did.
deck.
Whoa. No one needs
Not
to
just
know.
a deck.
Yeah,
Right, so what
yeah.
else you bought?
I bought the Sith starter kit. Not the Sith starter kit, the Separatists.
So what's the point of buying the Separatist starter kit, not the thing that you wanted to play the Separatist for?
Because I'll buy it tomorrow when I go. You know me. It's fine.
All right, I'm just making sure.
I didn't have enough space in my bag.
Oh, he didn't have any space in his bag.
Excuses.
I'm full of them.
All right, so
Is
as
Shane
exciting as what if we keep everybody on edge and say that he's going to come in mid-show like he did before?
People will just tune out now.
That made Chip swerve his car.
What the?
All right, so X-Wing has a new set. That's exciting. But Destiny is coming out with a new set tomorrow. We're recording Thursday night, which is exciting. We got some news. Recording Wednesday night. We got some news about what'll be going down Thursday. Yeah, I lose track all the time. But yeah, so we'll go through. We'll talk about what we're excited for, some of the leaks that we had this past day or two. But before we dive into that, I want to give Scott and Brian a chance to talk about the polls that we did just the other week. We'll give them like a minute or two on each. But they were not here. It was me and Tommy, who had Parker from Parker Simpson Artwork on last week. But yeah, Brian and Scott, let's hear your thoughts. Brian, you got the polls up in front of you, right?
Yep. So first up is Watt versus Grievous, and this one for me is pretty tough. I would say it's almost an even split. But at the end of the day, I think just Watt seems more interesting to me, just because I like his ability more. I was never on the Afra train. I'm too dumb to keep track of all those triggers. I figure you run Grievous and Afra together. I mean, you don't have to, but I feel like that's just the best combination. Grievous is still cool. I definitely still like him a lot, but I think Watt comes in. That's top for me.
But you can still do Watt with Afra, dude. The dream can live.
You could do
Watt
Watt, Afra, and Grievous in the same list, but I don't think that'd be worth doing.
Probably not.
Because you don't get the first part of Grievous's ability. I kind of have to. I mean, I'm looking at Grievous, thinking of Grievous's wheel bike.
Did you just say Grievous's wheel
bike? Yeah.
Did my voice just crack?
Yeah. So, but I still have to go with Wat Tambor just because looking through this set, like recently, now that like most of it or all of it's been spoiled, there's just so many really strong supports, and supports seem to be the card type between like upgrades and supports that they are like more dialed in on as far as like making them good. So I think a character that obviously gets an additional rollout of whatever supports you want to play is good. And we all saw that like with nines. Obviously, this is like much reduced in comparison because you're not overwriting, you're not doing it 9 different times. But still, we know that type of ability is good. I'm high on General Grievous as well. This is a tough one.
Yeah, I agree. The next one is Palp versus Enfys Nest. And I think this is another tough one for me specifically because I really like both of these characters. I've been playing a little bit of Palp on TTS, and I think that throwing out 8 dice on Palp is hilarious to me. Just because it's funny in TTS, but I feel like in person it's even more funny. His ability's still cool. I really like it. I of course always enjoy the opportunity to play Watto with him. But Enfys is really interesting to me because I feel like she doesn't know where she fits yet. And as the more sets come out and more partners she finds, I just think she's going to get better. Personally, that's just my call. So I'm going to go with Enfys on this one.
I can keep my my view on this pretty short. I'm not playing an 18-point character that has 10 health that I need to get abilities on to bring his health up to anything but gonna die real quick. So I'm going with Enfys Nest because I'm not paying 18 points for 10 health.
Fair enough. Next one is we shouldn't even do this one. Watto versus Satine. I mean, Tommy, I listened to the podcast last week and I just you and I, my friend, we are different animals. Because Watto's my boy. Well, yeah, Tommy's clearly much better than I. I mean, who am I? I'm probably
wait. Brian, who has a regional?
There you go.
That is me. That is actually me.
I concede.
Oh, wow, that's never happened before.
I'm actually the worst of all of the Golden Dice players.
Actually, I think that's Shane's spot. He hasn't even been to one yet, has he?
I don't. Did he go to anything?
No, he's never even gone to a store championship.
He's been to like the basement cup before.
It's amazing. The
basement cup.
No, he finished second at the Cap Cup.
That was
Shane finished second at the Cap Cup.
The Shane usurper.
Yeah, that's incredible. I don't know if it counts, but it's still pretty good. Anyway, back to the poll. I don't know. I like Watto a lot. Everyone, it's no surprise. But Watto, I don't even need to say anything more. Go ahead, Scott.
I like characters that have damage sides. So I like Satine with her 2 indirect damage side as opposed to Watto and his 2 disrupt. I want my characters that can do a little bit of work on their own. That way, when they're the last people on the board, you're not just drawing dead. Satine, Tommy's right. Everybody else is wrong.
Everyone can, agree to disagree. It's fine. Laura Santeca. No. And there it is, the first one of the night. Laura Santeca versus Ahsoka. I don't know. This one's tough for me, too. I think Ahsoka I voted for on the polls. But I can definitely see where Laura Santeca is useful and cool. But I'm going to go with Ahsoka here.
I don't play the deck that Laura Santeca is going to be in. Whatever it is. I mean, he's got a 2 focus sides, so he can fit into a lot of places. But I'm going to go with Ahsoka just because way more in line with what I may actually want to play. And the ability to get to kind of resolve a dice on the back end of whatever you're doing is, I mean, your activations is, it's a nice little tempo swing.
Next up is Padme versus Cass Dameron, and this one is obviously Padme. She's ridiculous and crazy. A 3 focus is disgusting and amazing. I love it. Sorry, Shane. Not even a competition.
It should not have been printed on a character die. I actually believe that. I think it's way above the curve.
Yeah, for 10,
we've
14
never seen
points,
it before, so
it's nuts.
I mean, I gotta agree. I gotta go with Padme, mostly because she's just costed better, in the sense that she's gonna have more versatility and more dance partners, whereas Cass is coming in at that range where you kind of want him with some non-unique guys because of his ability, but then his point costs kind of keeps you from that, even though he's now got a new leaked dance partner in that Captain Panaka understudy ununique. Is it just Naboo Trooper? Is it Naboo Palace Guard? But the Naboo Palace Guard doesn't cost 7. You need a First Order Stormtrooper on Kess for him to be really bonkers, which you could very well pull in our box tournament that we're going to have on Saturday.
Look at
That you guys are missing because Jack schedules events on days that he has other events to go to.
Sorry, I want things to still happen at our locals, even if I'm not there, Scott. I could have canceled everything.
Could you have?
Yeah, you could have canceled.
Are you sure about that? Is it too late or
Cancel what?
your weekend?
He said
Oh,
he
I
was
could've
going to
canceled
cancel
the
the
box.
box tournament, dude.
Ooh, that's awkward. Sorry.
That happened because I pestered our local game store, even though they told me, no, nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to wait until Saturday to open a box. I'm like, who are you? What is that? You haven't talked to any Destiny players in forever. And so I pushed for it. So you're welcome, Scott.
What's the big deal like by waiting for Saturday to open a box? Do we have a big giant regional tournament on Saturday that we need to start prepping for? No.
They're probably just used to Magic players. They're huge on pre-release. The second they can get them, they flood the store. So
I mean, if anything, it's going to sell them more boxes because you would assume that a lot of people are going to be
technically. I've bought
impatient.
+1 boxes now.
Yeah, you're going to go because you want to get one on Thursday and
yeah,
buy one, and then you're still going to buy another one for Saturday because you want to participate in the tournament.
yep.
Last poll, real quick, is Obi and
Still on the
Phasma. Yeah, still on the polls. One last poll. I'm gonna go with Phasma. Her ability is great. Mega Blast Troopers, Quicksilver Batons, all those things. Expensive deck, but really cool deck.
I want to play Phasma more, but I think Obi-Wan is the better character. I think like his ability is probably really undervalued as people haven't gotten enough play with it to notice how potent it is. Again, we're back to the 3 focus side thing. That could be great. He's essentially got one.
Yeah. Just do the power action.
Yeah.
Only difference is he can't weaponize it the same way.
No, but he does have damage sides.
Yeah,
Direct damage
he
sides.
definitely has damage sides.
Yep.
I just don't like his health total.
What is he, 11?
It's a little low.
He's an
It's
11
It's a
for
little
18.
low for an 18.
I think it's a little shaky.
It's probably because he can 3 shield side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Blue Hero is going to have a survivability problem. It's more going to have a can you deal any damage while you're generating a butt ton of shields problem.
Yeah, and I'm leaning towards no, they can't. Just in the little bit that
That might
I've
be the
messed around
case.
them. Yeah, I'm not excited for Blue Hero. I wish I wish better for them, but not overly excited for them.
I
But
mean, they've gotten some really strong characters in this set. It's more like the upgrade suite. They lost too much and didn't gain enough in the translation.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
it was the best upgrade suite
Yeah.
prior to rotation.
and I think blue characters have always been like on the best in a vacuum, and now when you expand the vacuum, they had a really good upgrade suite, so it just made sense. But now it's like I think they're all really good characters, but like none of their builds just feel exciting. Like when you're new legendary, or like new thing you're trying to do with Blue Hero is like the Sarasu stuff. It's just like you're prolonging your life, you're not closing a game type thing.
Nah, I got to riposte.
Yes, that would be a game changer. And it's hard for me too, even in Blue Hero. Like I don't know if there's an effective list that isn't either Luke with either Ayla or Yoda. Like to me, it's just like that pairing. You know, whichever way you go, just seems like the best. Nothing else excites me beyond that. Ahsoka doesn't really excite me in terms of overall meta. I think she's a decent character, but
I mean,
Right.
I could easily see Mace taking over Luke.
maybe. But it's like Mace is a point more. So like if you paired him with like Ayla or Yoda, you lose that 2-point plot ability, which I also think is really good. The lightsaber mastery, and also like I think Mace just gets better when there's more relevant weapons type thing. You know what I mean? Like if you could do Mace, power action, pull an ancient, get a shield, play that. I think that's a really strong combo. But if you're
You gotta remember with Mace, it's not just weapons and it's not just blue.
yeah, I mean that's fair.
So he's got there's stuff with him where it's just like, all right, that I don't think it's with the current sets card pool or what we have as far as like the 4 sets. I just don't think there's that strong thing. But if we're ever getting, if you're ever getting into a situation where it's like first turn Force Wave super strong, well, he helps.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see if he starts to settle in anywhere. But we'll just kind of open up our discussion now, anyways, to a more general talk. If you noticed yesterday, they leaked some store in Canada, I think. Forget the name of it, but it's whatever. Got their product, and they sell singles, so they cracked open all the boxes. And so we completed our set of Convergence. We know every single card that is coming out tomorrow. Was there anything new that kind of stood out to you guys? I have one in mind that I would like to talk about, but is there anything in that you guys saw that is exciting you, or you think is doesn't excite you, you don't want to play it, but you think it's a really good card?
I'll take the first stab at it. What was that? Is it Route? Is that the one red removal card? I'm looking for it now.
Yep. For every 3 dice you have in your pool, remove a die. It's a 1-cost red uncommon neutral.
Yeah, so I like the card, but I do think it suffers in the late game when your opponent rolls out if they have first action control of the battlefield. I feel like people might be overvaluing the card. That said, I do like the card a lot, and it definitely has the upside that you want. It's priced in a really nice spot, and it offers you the potential for multi-die removal in a set where I don't think multi-die removal is as prominent as it once was. I feel like there's less ways to do it. Even with your 2 and 3 cost mitigation cards, I think there might be less now. I mean, we do have less sets, but or maybe it's just more restrictive, with easy pickings being a little tougher to hit, maybe because of inconsistent die sides, and into the garbage chute only being effective against damage sides. So maybe that's where my head's at, but I do think it is a good card, and it's probably one of the better cards that we've got from this wave of spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's definitely like, oh, you're building a Captain Phasma deck, put that into your deck, because that's a deck that could very easily get up to like 6 dice on the table at any one time without having done so much.
Yeah, but the problem is, how many actions are you taking to get that many dice into your pool?
Should be 3, right? I mean, if you have Mega
You're rolling in
Blaster
Phasma and Magna Blaster Troopers?
Phasma is a power action, right?
Yeah, Phasma doesn't just get...
Oh yeah,
trooper
Phasma is a
dice.
power action. I always forget. Yeah, it's not on activation. So 3. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
That's fine, but I mean, they could be removing dice. I mean, now it's something that you're going to start thinking about from like the defensive perspective. Now you're thinking about, all right, they have 6 dice in their pool. I'm kind of on the fence if I should remove one. I'm actually going to take it. I'm going to go ahead and flank that one to take you back down to 5. That way I'm not getting routed for 2.
Yeah, but I'm fine from it from the standpoint of, all right, if you get 2, that's amazing. But if you just get 1,
yeah, it's still fine.
And
It's at worst case,
yeah.
It's a flank as long as you can find a way to get 3 dice in the pool. Like I said, the only situation I don't like it is they go first, which is an issue for me because everything I'm looking at is 3 wide with supports.
Yeah. I mean, but then, we've always like been comfortable running mitigation that very well could be offline in the late game because of spot requirements.
Mm-hmm.
So having a mitigation card that essentially may be offline in the late game because of deaths decreasing your dice total or the need to have like immediacy to it. It's give and take that we've already accepted in a way before.
Yeah. And I mean, I like you said, Tommy, well, both of you kind of echoed it. Just the fact that at worst case scenario, it's really going to be like pay 1, remove 1. Because I think it is generally pretty easy to just get 3 dice into your pool, even with the support decks. Because I'm assuming, Tommy, you're doing some form of Padme. And so it's like Padme with her ship, activate that, there's 3 dice into your pool.
Yeah, but again, they can't remove 1. If they remove a die, you're offline again. And so it is harder, especially in a support deck. And not just because you're not going first, but because now you potentially without, like, let's say Padme's dead in the late game because she's probably getting targeted down. So now I don't have the ability to put 3 dice in the pool in 1 action. So now if this is my only removal card, I'm 2 actions away from being able to play it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, that's definitely fair.
The plus side with the, like, if you roll out enough dice to put it online and then they remove 1, it's back to your action, so you can either you can bring another one out or another 2 out
bounce
depending
back
on
and
the character.
forth. Yeah.
Brian, you got thoughts on Route?
I'm nodding my head over here. I agree with everything you guys are saying. I just don't need don't think we need another
You're not on
voice.
camera.
Oh yeah, you're right. Oh,
Radio.
sorry. Yeah, radio. That's perfect for me. I got a face for radio. Yeah, no, I agree. Everything that Tommy's saying. I mean, it's great until you're an action behind and you're playing a 3-wide. You know, I mean, it's all about speed. Got to go fast.
I think it shines in a deck that's using upgrades. That's kind of like a 2-wide upgrade deck. I'm not sure what deck that is that's going to be competitive right now, because like I said, my mindset isn't there. Or similar to like the Padme ship, like additional actions, or like the Falcon, or
Yeah.
Or like the
rolling
Mega
in things
Blaster
in
Troopers,
tandem.
where
Sure.
it itself is 3 dice.
Yes, like that all I would consider. But I mean, ultimately, if you roll in a Palpatine with 3 upgrades on him, now you got 5 in the pool. You're in great shape. Like if you could pair Palpatine with a red, and just spam upgrades on him, this could be a blowout.
Yeah, it'd be real good because it's very natural. You're doing what you're going to do anyway.
Grievous, baby.
Rolling out your big character.
On another card that I saw in red that interested me a little bit. Well, there's actually a few. Red's got some spicy stuff, which is interesting. Yeah. But there's 2 that are kind of standing out to me, and one is Aggressive Negotiations, which is 2 costs, red hero, uncommon, event. Choose an opponent and have them remove any number of their dice, then deal 2 indirect damage to that opponent for each dice showing damage. And the other card that interested me is a 2 cost, red hero, common, event. It's called Unfetter, and is ready a red character that has no cards attached to it. They're both interesting in that they seem useful, but also, could be those cards where they have a very niche use and they don't see play because it's very specific. And like Aggressive Negotiations, obviously, if they roll out lethal on you and that doesn't give you lethal back, then it's not really relevant in anything. But Unfetter seems interesting too, because the Padme builds mostly interest me. Like if you get a second activation out of her, I think that could be really useful. And for 2 costs, I think that would be potentially worth it. No idea if it makes a 30. It could potentially more so in trilogies because there's only 160 cards or 180 or whatever there is.
Yeah, trilogies lets you run some.
Yeah, exactly. But it interests me. And I wonder if there's a spot in any of the Padme decks for that. Do you guys have any thoughts about these 2 cards? Think they're garbage? Think they're somewhere relevant?
I mean, I think Aggressive Negotiations is completely fine, because if you're looking at it from the standpoint of you're always looking at like a value proposition of 1 resource, 1 card for 2 damage, and that's like your field medic standard, or any number of cards we've had. That's the kind of minimum that you want to hit. All right, so you're choosing any number of dice. Let's just say you choose 2 dice. So for 2 cost, you're getting 2 cost, 1 card. You're getting likely what? Either 4 damage or 2 removal, or 1 removal and 2 damage. Your value proposition, you're actually a little bit ahead because it's only costing you a single card. And that's only if you target 2 dice. Once you get over 2 dice, then all of a sudden you're getting far more value.
What if you're playing against a deck like Padme, though? I mean, if you're playing in the Padme mirror, and this is like, you can't remove focus.
Yeah.
I mean, there's stuff like this where it doesn't work,
Then you got a slightly dead card.
Yeah, I mean,
But that's every removal.
That's when you weigh in things like Force Illusion is dead against Mill, but it's so valuable in every other matchup that it warrants a spot in every deck anyway. The thing that I don't like about this card, potentially, and again, nothing is like, it's not, we don't have a defined meta, so it's really hard to say how things fit in exactly, and that goes along the lines with what Brian said. But also, like if say like a small vehicles style deck comes back, a lot of those decks are able to roll out 1 die and resolve it.
Roll out resolve.
Then I'll roll out 2 focus dice, then I'll roll out a small die, I'll turn it, resolve. You know what I mean? Like there are ways, especially with characters like Satine, who would be great against this because it's such a low value die. If you hit the 2 indirect, you just resolve it. Then you sit on 1 focus, you roll out something, it's okay, you resolve it, you roll out something else, you focus it. It's so you can play around this card. So this card has, again, it's another card with high upside, but is going to really be dependent on the meta because it is a 2 resource event.
Yeah.
And
easy to play.
while I'm talking, before I shut up, I'm just going to say I'm not a big fan of Unfetter. I think there's
Unfettered? What the hell?
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot of characters that I would want to play that on. I mean, I like Padme, but I don't think I'd rather. I think I could spend those 2 resources
Yeah.
better than
Are
that.
people
I mean-
people playing strategic planning now that you can't ready a ship with mods?
I've seen counter decks run it. I don't necessarily know if vehicle decks are still running it, but
Yeah.
they
Well,
might
I
have
mean,
a one
you
of
would
it.
have 1 die on the. Actually, I mean, strategic planning would have been great with Mega Blaster Troopers.
Isn't
I'm
it
just
vehicle?
saying from this.
Oh yeah, it is vehicle. You're
Is
right.
it?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying from the standpoint of you need more than 2 dice for your 2 cost. Like bring something back
Yeah.
in.
I agree. That's why I think that, like,
Yeah.
for two dice, what's your like average damage output on like a normal character? Like, even if it's, you can't do Vader, it's a red character, so I don't even know, like 2 to 3 damage, and you would look at something like the aggressive negotiations where you have a much higher ceiling than something like that for the same amount of resources.
Yeah, for me, it begins and ends at Padme. Like, there's no other red character that would interest me in doing that, but Padme was just about the only one, I think.
I mean, you can run it with Kess.
No, thank you.
Just as a way to keep your
Keep the loop.
lat combo going. Yeah.
Well, that should be hit tomorrow, hopefully.
I mean, well, they could probably do it in the forums, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
might
think
be
we're gonna
too
get
late in the.
anything on
No.
FFG's site.
I think we'll get a rules reference tomorrow, but I think the lat is probably too late in the game, and that's probably a form
Oh,
update.
100%.
That would be my hope, at least.
Might just get the tree in there.
The tree where you could literally just draw
Unity
your.
Force Tree.
Such a dumb.
Yep, just forgot Van.
That's crazy.
Another Qui-Gon. You'd figure, like, well, then again, we don't know that. I mean, this set could have very well easily been in production by the time the Qui-Gon thing came up, but it's literally the same problem.
Yeah, they might have noticed it, I think, when the Qui-Gon thing, because it seemed like as soon as that was spoiled, the Gandoric was like, day 1 errata, just so you guys know.
Yeah, maybe we should reference what we're referencing.
Yeah, so the Force Tree's in action, exhausts the support to choose another player. You and that player each draw a card. It's a hero blue support location, uncommon, 1 cost.
Yeah. As printed, there's nothing connecting those 2 parts. So you don't have to do the first part to do the second part.
Remember when they
The
changed
exhaust part.
it to where you had to do the first part to do the second part?
And then it
for a
broke other
day?
cards?
It broke Han. Like, you couldn't, whether it's hero or villain first, you couldn't do the second one. If like,
Yeah.
Oh man, that was a fun day.
So this is
And
one
then-
that I hope they hit on the official day 1 document, if we get a day 1 document.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fingers
I mean,
crossed.
since that was highlighted in the previous,
Yeah.
set, hopefully, that we could have had the foresight to look at this set and just take a quick glance over everything and make sure that there was nothing like that with punctuation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And
we'll
then,
find out.
And then the Lat gunship that we referenced, it's a new card that got, I guess, spoiled in the opening, or leaked in the opening, whatever you want to call that. Hero Command Legendary. I think the DB has it as cost 1. It's not cost 1. It's cost 4. Support vehicle. Sides are pretty good, but its big thing is its special is roll a trooper die on one of your characters into your pool, reroll the support die instead of removing it. Essentially, as printed with Kess Dameron and his 2 focus side. If you get a 2 focus side showing on Kess with his other dice in the pool and this gunship in the pool, whatever they're on, you can endlessly be resolving and then re-rolling in Kess's dice until you hit damage and a special at the same time. You shoot and then you continue the loop. So if your opponent doesn't disrupt it by removing the Lat gunship, killing Kess, something along those lines, you can just repeat it until they're dead.
Yep.
So we've got another thing that's likely going to be addressed shortly, because it's very, very likely that FFG does not want to have games devolve into, do you have mitigation every turn? No. All right. Pack up the game.
Yep. So my hope is that this gets not neutered into the ground. A day 1 legendary getting destroyed would stink. What I saw on Discord, also from the Gandork, says possible errata would be roll a trooper die on one of your cards in play into your pool and resolve it, otherwise remove it. Reroll the supports die instead of removing it. So it's almost like a do or do not rolling that die back in type thing.
Yeah.
Except without the bonus, just resolve. So it's like a doubt on your die that you used, I guess.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a rough one. That's obviously like hitting the power of the gunship pretty hard, but yeah, such is.
It's kind of weird. Like, it almost, in a sense, could potentially make it like a little better. The remove part obviously stinks.
You are getting some actionable,
Yeah.
action cheating, potential damage sides in. So yeah, you do have that. So maybe it's a pretty linear move.
Yeah.
But then again, I prefer like leaving the die. I would rather, if I was looking from like wanting it to be good, be better, leaving the die in the pool so that you can manipulate it otherwise. But that leads to the problem of
Yeah.
being able to do it indefinitely.
Yep.
It's much better than the proposed. A lot of people are saying like just non-unique troopers. I'm like, then the gunship's never getting taken because how many non-unique troopers are you ever going to get in Hero?
Yeah.
2?
Yeah. You
Maybe.
don't really care to roll in. Like, I mean, then you have to bring the what's the face, clone trooper.
The clone trooper, the new Boo Palace guard. Like, yeah, it's just the type of thing. You're only ever going to have like 2 or 3 at best. Like, I don't want a legendary that
Yeah.
is immediately going to not see play.
Definitely.
Too many of those exist.
I still didn't like it already, so the lat wasn't excited anyways.
I like the lat only
mean-
because we were talking before about not Clone Wars, but X-Wing and how they were dropping all the Clone Wars stuff. And the thing I was looking for, the first thing I was looking for was the lat because I just love the lat. Again, I'm gonna reiterate this for the third time. Just because something's bad doesn't mean I won't play it. I don't know if it's bad yet or not. I mean, especially after the errata, it might not be bad. But I still played the crap out of ATST for a long time, so.
Hey man, I'm the guy that's saying I'm gonna rock Han Chewie when it drops, but Chewie got that sweet blaster rifle, so maybe there's hope. Just
Yeah,
maybe.
blast rifle is actually not terrible.
Yeah, even outside of Chewbacca, because you can still get to rolled in. You just don't get that resolve if it's not on Chewie.
You mean it's just better outside of Chewbacca because other characters are better than Chewbacca.
Nothing wrong with Chewie.
He's on my list.
Play it against a mill deck.
He's fine. Love him. He's beautiful.
I'm not saying he's not beautiful. He's pretty, but I'm just saying
Hey, Lando's gonna roll that 2 range eventually. All right.
Is there any other ones
you're gonna
that
shoot
you guys
yourself.
like
That's what you're gonna do.
from these spoiled cards?
I don't know, but I'd like to touch on the topic of Entourage, that new yellow neutral legendary. Where is it?
I
just
got it,
had
Jack. It's
All
a
right, hit us.
3-cost yellow support scoundrel, legendary neutral, like Jack said. Its die sides are 2 indirect, 3 indirect, 2 disrupt, 2 resource, special, and a blank. It has the game text of after you play the support, you may search your deck for a scoundrel, reveal it, and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. The special is spot any number of scoundrels to deal that much damage to a character.
What are you guys' thoughts on it?
I think it's really good, really, really good, and I think it single-handedly makes, not single-handedly, I guess I should say, with the, what's the 1-cost scoundrel support from the Allies of Necessity?
Hired
Hired
muscle.
muscle.
Yes, I think this, along with Hired Muscle, makes the entire scoundrel tribe much more appealing.
Can I put Chewbacca in my deck?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes, you can.
Could you just play? Would you just play Entourage in a deck that doesn't have any scoundrel characters?
I mean, I think it's less good then, but I still think it's fine. I mean, just the fact that you could tutor out Hired Muscle is
Yeah.
really good.
And if you're playing it in a deck that produces a lot of money, you can just tutor. You can just get them out right away.
Yeah, you could slam them down the same turn.
The one thing, and it's kind of weird. It's unique, right? I'm just
Nope,
looking at the
it's
DB,
not
and
unique.
It's
You can
not,
have
yeah.
two.
it's
of them.
okay. The DB has it as unique. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense because it's just Entourage, not like X, Y, and Z's
And
Entourage.
artwork is
All right,
awesome.
so yeah, if you're making a ton of money, then you can just tutor out another Entourage and drop that on the table, and then tutor out a hired gun behind it. And who cares if you're running scoundrels to begin with? You've gotten 2 to 3 on the table right away.
I mean, but there's a lot of good scoundrels, like, regardless.
Yeah,
Like,
Han, Lando, those
yeah,
are both
Watto.
like the Emphas Nest's henchmen.
Jabba. I mean, yeah, there's like
He
a
said
lot
good
of good ones.
scoundrels.
Like you figure you're making space for yellow anyways. Like you're bound to have one scoundrel in your character team anyways. I don't know.
Maz is a scoundrel.
Yeah,
Ezra
Maz.
is not a scoundrel. He is a scavenger. Scavenger, seriously.
He said good characters, Scott.
They're
Yeah.
amazing, Tommy. You take that back.
Tobias Beckett is a scoundrel. He's obviously a
I'm
strong
kidding.
character.
He's good.
Ezra
I
and
like
Maz
him.
aren't good.
So yeah,
Ezra and Maz are
there's a
not.
lot of good options with this, and like you guys said, you play this, you tutor hired muscle. If you could get that 2 resource side, you could obviously then play the hired muscle,
Yeah.
and now you're already at 3 scoundrels for next turn. Oh,
It's
that.
going to be an expensive card.
But you also figure, like, for example, I mentioned Tobias. He makes money, and Watto.
No, I
Obviously,
don't. I do not mean resource wise.
Lando,
Three
Han, and
resources is not
Hero.
expensive in this game anymore. I meant monetary.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the better. It's probably like in my top three. I'd say
I
for
could
the
easily
entire
see
set,
it
as
being the
far as
most expensive
legendaries go.
legendary.
Padme,
Yeah,
bro.
but maybe she doesn't like. She's great. I'm not disputing her as a card. I'm just saying from the standpoint of what we've seen as far as like price of cards for a character to be the most expensive. It has to be like a. It has to be a Vader.
It
Yeah,
has to be
Vader,
Vader.
Yoda, Snoke.
You're right. Yeah, this goes in more.
Yeah.
It can go in more decks, even though it is going to be a scoundrel deck. It has the benefit of
And
being
the
hero
fact
or
that we
villain.
have Han, who is amazing, and he can go in anything.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Cool.
What?
So
what
I
else?
got one more.
Yeah, I
that
think I got one more.
If we got time. I got
Oh, yeah.
the resistance ring. Do you guys
I do.
like that card at all?
In a
I gotta go find it.
resistance ring. Tom, you want to read it? Do you have it?
Yeah, I got it. It's a one cost red hero upgrade. It's also an equipment. Its die sides are one focus, one shield, a modified +1 resource, modified +1 resource, and a special with a blank. Following that, after you play this upgrade, discard the top card of a deck. And its special is play a red event from any discard pile as if it were yours, paying its cost, then set that event aside. I feel like this is. I think it could potentially go in any deck, but I mean, it screams mill to me more than anything.
For me to talk about this, I have to mention another card, No Answer, because to me, yes, this screams Leia, whether it's Yoda or Lando deck. But No Answer is a neutral card event, common, and it's discard a random card from opponent's hand. If that opponent has no cards in hand, discard the top 3 cards of their deck, and it's only a 1 cost. So, like, being able to recycle that, it seems extremely powerful with the special on the resistance ring, and to me, it just makes Mill really, really powerful in my opinion. I think that would be a great combo.
Yeah, I mean, you could just recycle your own field medics and first aids retroactively. They don't even have to have dice that you need
Yep.
to remove. It just helps you stay
Yeah, it's
alive.
one of the things Mill can sometimes just straight run out of mitigation. It happens.
Yeah.
Especially if they see things in a weird order where they're having to like discard mitigation to re-roll because sometimes you need to. Sometimes you starve a Mill deck out of its mitigation and then it's like, wait a second, I've seen too many of your mitigation cards. You don't have any more. I can start focusing aggressively.
Yeah.
It's like you start counting.
Yeah, and I mean the fact that you can, I mean it's not like it's only got one special side, but it's a 1 cost upgrade. The other sides are okay, like a focus, a shield. You can make some money if you pair it with resources. But also I mean even a Yoda
Yeah.
special chain, you could take
That's
$1,
mitigation, yeah.
turn a die, resolve that, and then have one to pay
Yep.
for whatever
I
piece
think
of mitigation.
I think Yoda
you
would be
want.
the place that I would see it strongest in. I don't like the
Definitely
plus. I don't like the
strongest and
2 plus
like most
resource sides.
consistent. I'm not crazy about them, but I mean.
I mean,
I'm
I
not-
think you're
I don't
probably
hate
really
them
just
either.
wanting that one. You want the special anyways. I mean, the focus can be fine, but it's like if I'm playing this, I want to hit
Yeah.
that special every time. Hence the Yoda being optimized best to get the most out of this.
Like I wouldn't necessarily.
I mean, Yoda
Yeah.
tends to get the best out of anything.
This would be like a card that I would mulligan for if I was running Leia Yoda.
Yeah.
Whereas if I was running Leia Lando, I may include it in the deck, but I wouldn't be like pushing hard for it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a lot easier to pair the
Would.
resource sides in that deck.
But I don't want to.
where the
I just
Yoda
don't want
deck,
to
you would
resolve it
just
for
be
the
abusing
resource
the special.
sides.
Yep.
Did
I mean, it pays for itself.
in the leaks was Ordnance Launcher one of the ones that like got thrown out with that, right? Am I thinking that, or did I just see Ordnance Launcher late?
Ordnance launcher, yeah, that came early, I think.
Okay.
I do like that as well. Let me see if I can try to find it.
I got it. It's a yellow neutral rogue, 3 cost upgrade weapon, +1, +2, +3 range, +1 discard, +2 shield, +1 resource. It's an ambush. After you resolve a scoundrel die, you may resolve this die as if it did not have a modifier.
Yeah, I like this a lot too. In that Han Chewie deck, baby, it's coming alive. It's coming alive because I can resolve
I'm looking
whatever.
at it from this.
And then,
I'm looking at it from the standpoint of we've lost most of our ambush weapons in the rotation. This has got ambush.
But I mean, ambush doesn't do that much for you unless you're using like quick draw anymore. Like it's not like you have the Ray one or the Han one, and I just the fact that it's a 3-cost weapon and doesn't have redeploy. Meh. I don't know. I see the value in the ability, and the ambush is just kind of like, for me, it's specifically for upgrades. It's just something that's tacked on.
I'm looking at it from the standpoint of I could see them releasing more cards that replicate the action cheating thing under the idea that like we've taken away most of the ambush weapons. So it's not as crazy as it was where it's like, oh, I can run holdouts, hiddens, X8s, DL44s. It's like you can almost go like 10 ambush weapons deep.
Yeah.
So I could see them letting some of those cards come back in because now you're much more restricted on your ambush weapons.
Yeah, and the fact that everything you listed was 2 cost.
The DL44 was not.
3.
Oh, that also had the great
That's
mechanic.
True, yes.
Yeah.
The DL44 was just.
But this also has the mechanic of, getting to resolve. Like you resolve a Han special, you can resolve this.
Yeah. I do wish that some of these guns would have had like redeploy on them. Like
I wish some of these guns were either 2-cost or had redeploy on them. I think you're going to see a lot more supports because the supports are much more they're costed better in the sense that they innately have that like redeploy quality because they don't leave the table. So the fact that you have 2 upgrades and supports that look pretty much identical to each other but cost the same, the pseudo redeploy that exists as a support kind of gives them an edge up.
So there's 2 advantages in the base game to an upgrade versus a support. The first advantage would be you're able to saturate the pool in one action, and the second advantage would be if that upgrade has redeploy, there's a potential for a double resolution out of that die in a round. But outside of that, I think you're better off with supports. I don't feel like there's enough like support or upgrade hate either way for it to impact your decision.
Not that many things with redeploy. And the things that do have redeploy aren't good.
And that's actually a Patreon question, similar-ish to it.
God damn it.
So we'll be able to...
You should have warned us.
Well, no, I think it was relevant to the conversation anyways, but now we can expand
Blow me.
Later. Okay. Welcome back, Scott. Welcome back.
There's a lot of
pent up.
Scott doesn't want you to have fun night when you're editing.
He's like, Jack, I want you to be up late as you can so you're exhausted when you go to your boxes tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we'll move on from the leaks because we still got a decent amount we want to get to, and we're already close to 43 minutes or so. We'll kind of go through this one a little bit and just give quick answers. We won't dive into it too much, but if you guys were going to Adepticon this weekend, and let's say Convergence was legal, so rotation happened, Standard was Convergence plus Legacies block, Trilogies was just Convergence, and Infinite obviously was everything. Let's start off. What would you guys bring if you were going to Standard at Adepticon?
Who wants to go with that one?
I'll take if it's Standard. I'm taking Padme, Satine, Gungan.
Yeah, that was going to be my vote as well. That's probably what I would bring.
But I'll do the caveat of I'm only buying 1 box, so I'm hoping to get 1 Padme, and I'll take a Padme at 1 die with armored reinforcements.
Let's assume
just
you have
for economic reasons.
You have unlimited resource. You got 2 of each card.
Yeah, I'll probably take Elite Padme. Then.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat there with you, Tommy. I think that would be mine.
I'm taking Palpuato because I'm dumb. I don't feel like I don't want to win that badly. I just want to have fun.
I think that's better. I think it's a solid deck.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it'll be fine. I think you'll learn to play it better, Brian.
Yeah. Also putting better things in there than Malice, so that's also good.
Yeah, need to make that.
You're
step.
welcome.
Yeah, I really liked it better when I didn't have Malice in there. And once you trim the trash out of that deck, I think it has legs. I definitely do. I don't think it's tier 1 by any means, but I do think it has some legs to stand on.
Brian, let's talk about one card that you put in there.
What did he do? What did
Real
he
quick.
do? What did he
no,
do?
No, stop,
So-
stop.
It's a 2-cost, uncommon, yellow villain
Wow.
event.
Is it new?
Stop.
It's called Barter with Blood. You put that in there, I was like, what? What is this?
All right, so the absolute
Okay.
last thing,
Scott, what's your take?
thing I would ever put in a deck
Mute Brian. Just mute him.
for use in a tournament the weekend of the set coming out is a card like Barter for Blood, because I do not feel like explaining that card anytime I play it.
Can we get Shane in here? Like, what go away, Brian. That's terrible. Dude.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Scott, what are you bringing? Standard Adepticon.
Maybe for just like proof of concept purposes, Padme, Yoda, Armored Reinforcements.
Solid. So 3 Padmes. Look at that.
I just she's the character I like most in the set. Otherwise, like especially she's the character that I like most in the set that hasn't already been talked to death, because it's like Afra plus things that you can bring with Afra. That's obviously super exciting, but
Yeah.
that's been known for a while.
Yeah.
Or not known, but like been talked about for a while. So as far as like new things that came out, I'd probably just go Padme, Yoda, Armored Reinforcements, run at least just a one of Padme ship and go on that end. See if I can just keep them alive via Yoda shields and Padme ship shields.
We'll move on, and we'll say Trilogy, and let's give this stipulation that the starters are out and Allies of Necessity is out. What's the deck that you guys would run in Trilogies?
I'd run Pal Botto. I think that he's got a full kit for Trilogy.
Interesting.
I'd run anything that lets me take Wat Tambor and Entourage.
I'm still gonna stick with Palpalato.
Man, that happened way too fast, guys. I couldn't think.
Yeah, you thought I was gonna have to sit there for a second. I was like, nah, I just want to take fucking Wat Tambor and Entourage.
I like the idea of Watt and Entourage, though. I do like that idea.
Mostly from the standpoint of the other things that you take along with Entourage would be good. So just throw me in. What's Watt's point cost again?
912.
He's 12, so you could take Emphas Nest, or you could take like 2 of Emphas's henchmen, or like 1 henchman and something else, and still get at least
Wat
1 scoundrel
Tambor,
in there.
Han, Armored Reinforcements.
You can't take Han. It's Trilogy.
Wat Tambor, Han. I'll do that standard.
There you
No,
go.
yeah, there's a few anything that would let me take that. So maybe
What?
just Emphas Nest.
I'm proud of you.
That would work.
All right, I'll roll with man.
Oh gosh, golly gee, Willikers.
Golly jeepers, I think, even though I don't like her that much, I feel like in a Trilogy format, she's probably decent. I'll go with Phasma, and then maybe Watto. Maybe I'll go with single die Phasma, Elite Watto. Maybe that's what I'm taking.
You don't want to run Dengar?
Oh, you know what? Just Dengar. That's all I'm taking.
Just Dengar.
14 points and maybe a plot.
Just do Dengar Asajj, because that seems
Yeah, that seems like it
Not-
adds up to 30
that seems
points,
pretty
and that's about
it does
all
add up
does.
to 30 points.
That's all it does.
Should it
Hey,
though?
at least you get one bounty out there. Both of their abilities are firing at the same time.
They're both good in limited.
Dengar more so.
Yeah, I think
That's my
Dengar's better
opinion.
than Asajj Unlimited.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Asajj's die is just good.
Yeah, I can see that.
But-
Yeah, she might just
yeah.
be fine.
I mean, if you get a bounty, his die is the same, basically. Or even better with the
I
added
think-
damage.
I mean, I don't know I forget the new cost for like the new draft characters, but just remembering from the other one, 11 points was like the sweet spot that you wanted.
Yeah, they're at 11, 11, 10.
Yeah, so it's still the same situation where a 13-point character is kind of not the best.
Yeah. All right, Infinite. What are you guys bringing in Infinite?
Not playing.
I'm bringing Palp again.
Oh, you bring in Palpatine, you're just going to load up with 4 speeds and 4 solutions?
Absolutely.
In Infinite, it's just gonna be fun and it'll be cool. Like why not?
Yeah,
right?
I guess so. I'll bring like a Mace Windu deck, because then I can run all like the actual broken weapons. Be searching out like Shoto lightsabers and ancient lightsabers.
I'm gonna build around Barter with
Yeah.
Blood.
Yeah,
for
that seems like a good
Infinite,
idea.
for sure. And I'm gonna bring a lot of tokens.
Infinite tokens.
I'm sticking with Palp.
I like Palp. I'd probably do Palpalado in Infinite. There's just so much stuff. And now you get access to Holocron to cheat out those
Holocron,
crazy,
baby.
cheat out those 4 storms.
I miss Holocron.
Yeah, I don't. That was
What a card.
way above the curve.
What a card. Now Jedi Holocron's out, and I'm like,
I'm just
Now it's fair.
I'm like half worried. I'm just half worried about like the Palpatine doing that. It's like, all right, if you don't come out like the gate with some abilities, you could die in the first round.
30 abilities. Let's go. No, 28 and then back to 28.
That'll work.
Upgrade. Back to
No,
therapy.
your mitigation is just making your health pool bigger.
Yeah, I've got 38 health. Come get me, dude.
Then someone plays then someone's like metaing for an infinite tournament. They play fallback.
I don't think you're dying round one because don't forget you get illusion back and like there's other things you get.
I'm just saying.
You
I'm
get
just
the
saying
full
fallback
suite of
would be pretty
mitigation,
funny.
All this good 0. Fallback would be hilarious against the Palp. It would be it'd
I
be
deal 6
crippling.
damage and get rid of 5. Or I deal 5 damage, get rid of 5 upgrades.
Mind extraction, baby.
What does that thing do?
It gets rid of all non-specials. On
It blanks him. It's milk of the poppy, Scott.
Yeah, that'd be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously it could just kill Palp instantly if he's above 10 damage.
Yeah, that's a Voltron killer.
I would definitely play it. I would definitely play that in an infinite tournament. I would.
What,
I would
3 of you
sleeve
said
that up.
Palpatine?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, everybody's gonna be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Palpatine
yeah,
looks
and then you're
fun,
just like
let's do it."
dead,
Sleeve
dead,
up mind
dead,
extraction.
dead. Yeah, I would run fallback just for that.
All right, we all said our things for that. So we'll dive into. I want to hear your guys' top 6 legendaries, or basically, what do you guys in your first box? What do you want to pull? I'll hit it.
How are we doing this? Are we going one at a
Yeah.
time, or are you just spouting out?
No,
6?
we'll do one at a time. I'll kick us off, and I'm gonna say Padme, Entourage, Quicksilver Baton, Phasma, Chewie, and Chewie's rifle. Those are the 6 I want in my first box. Fully understanding Chewie is just who I am. But Padme all the way is who I mainly want.
I'll go next. I want Enfys, Chewie, Mega Blaster Troopers, Palp,
Oh, Mega
Padme,
Blaster.
and Chewie's Blaster.
No, you don't get it now. You forgot it. Therefore, you don't get it
No, I'm
anymore.
not pulling any. Ah! Chewie,
That's
I
how
hate
it
you.
works.
Why do I love you so much?
I don't know. I do not know. All right, Tommy, you up?
I got I Padme and then 5 other of whatever, just not Crime Lord, and I'm good.
I don't actually own any Crime Lords, so that wouldn't. I'm not going to be as mad.
Scott, you want to buy mine? 2 for
No,
one deal.
Nope, never, nope.
I'll take a baton. I'll take Entourage. I'll take Force Storm. I'll take Mega Blasters, and I'll take a Palp.
Force Storm, baby.
Alright.
He converted.
I'll go Phasma because I just think that's fun. Mega Blaster Troopers because you gotta have one, and then the other. Mace Windu's lightsaber because I like Mace. Padme. Then say Chewbacca's blaster and Entourage. Although the Quicksilver Baton and Entourage instead of Chewbacca's blaster, since I did all
I
the
feel
other
like the
Phasma
problem with
cards.
limiting yourself to 6 with this is like, I'm looking at this list and I'm like, I can't build anything with this. Like I want Padme, I want
can.
Palp, I want Chewie. Like my list is like,
All right, Brian.
I'm all
It's
over the
literally
place.
called
Padme.
theoretical questions. All right.
Yeah,
you
no,
must
you're
be
opening-
real
you're
fun at
opening a
parties.
box.
Real fun at parties, Brian.
First of all, you have to go to parties to be fun at them, and I don't. So, second of all,
He just goes and he buys all the people's trash.
Are
He
you
just,
not
he just makes
bringing
deals
him
for their
to
junk.
essentially a party this weekend?
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
week-long-
that's your fault actually.
Yeah.
Week long party in the cab with me, Bri. It's gonna be a great time.
Oh, good lord. I can't wait to hear about how much you dislike what you pulled in your box this weekend.
Oh yeah, Crime Lords
all weekend long.
all 3, baby. So I can run
All
5.
weekend long.
You know what it's gonna let me do? It's gonna let me run double down 3 Crime Lords. Let's go.
Where Watto comes in. I hope I pull
God
16
bless you.
Watto
Wattos.
Jabba, right? There we go. Okay. All right.
He's a sweet kid.
All right. So now we're gonna play a dumb game similar to last.
I feel like we've been doing that all night.
Yeah, when are we not
now
playing
now
dumb
it's
games?
even dumber than dumber, and just get ready for it. All right. So we are. I got a random number generator like we did for draft, and I'm gonna let you guys know what's in your boxes. All right.
All
Are
right.
you guys ready?
Sweet.
This is
I
gonna be your
can't-
box.
Wait, hold on. Wait, did you write a program that factors in the fact like Nicole is opening the box, right? You factored
That's
that
impossible.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, the baby stole her powers. We've established that already.
in. No, the baby did not.
The baby
if
did
you
s-
saw the last box she opened, you would disagree.
Did you see what was the last time we beat her in Pokemon card opening?
That's true, but
And
I'm
that has
just
never
hoping that
happened
all
before.
her power came to Destiny. That's true. We did crap on her in
Yeah.
Pokemon card. All right, go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right. Who wants to go first? Who's stepping
Tommy's
up?
going first.
Tommy.
I get,
All right.
yeah, let's
Tommy,
do
you
it.
ready? All right.
I'm
You're-
ready. Hit me with
you're-
Padme. What number's Padme?
Padme is 12. Oh, congratulations.
All right,
dude.
let's go
All right,
12.
So first you got number 7, which is Force Storm.
Yeah, buddy. I'll take that. It's a good start.
You got number 14, which is Palp Saber.
Okay.
Hey,
That's
You
that's
got-
good.
it's on theme.
Number 13, which is Palpatine.
Okay, I got the kit.
You got
That's a good
number
box.
you got number 12, which is Padme.
Okay.
You got number 5, which is Enfys Nest.
Okay, that's fine. It's all gravy, baby. It doesn't even matter. It could be Crime Lord. I'm still have the best box.
And I got to redo this one. Similar number came up. You got 14 again. Congratulations, you got 2 Palp Sabers.
Okay.
Hey,
No,
Oh my God.
Jabba is your last legendary.
no, two things is it happens.
Not in my number simulator, okay, Scott? This is
Actually,
my world.
it just happened in your number simulator, sir. I want my Palp Saber. You can't cheat me.
No,
this is
he
this is
gets
your
a
dumb
Palp-
game. You stick by the rules. It gave me a Palp Saber.
He gets a Palp Saber.
That's
All
right.
right, congratulations, Tommy. Here's your theoretical imaginary Palp Saber.
Thank
Hope
you.
it helps you. Hope it helps you sleep at night.
It helps me sleep better than Jabba would. I'm not kissing him.
Jabba's a legendary. That's
See, now I'll just hit generate if the same number pops up, and you guys will never know. So congratulations.
don't do that.
Hope you're
Stop
happy
cheating.
with yourself. All right, who
I'm happy. I'm gonna
Did you
win.
work at a church?
who do we got
I'll go
next?
next.
Brian, Mr. Bry guy. All right, Brian, you got the Lat gunship, number 9.
Okay, cool.
You got number 6, which is Entourage. You got number 8 at Jabba. Number 7, you got Force Storm. 12, you got Padme, and number 2, you got Chewbacca. You happy with your
Oh,
box?
I'm thrilled with that.
That's a
box.
good box.
Fine.
That's
That's
a good
fine
box. It's not as good as mine, but it's a good box.
No, yeah, not as good as Tommy's. I would trade Tommy's box any day.
At
but-
least you could say at least. I'd say 4 out of those 6.
Yeah.
I mean, Lack Gunship apparently is getting pre-sold for like $50 because people are silly.
Yep.
That's
Yep,
ridiculous.
I'll put it up right now.
All right, so if
My
you guys want to buy
imaginary
a
lat.
imaginary lat from Brian, he'll draw a picture for you, and that'll be the card.
Best I can do is Fitty.
Oh, he's gonna do 50. All right.
All right, Scott, you ready? You ready for your box?
I'm up. Yeah, I got it.
All right. Number 3, you got Chewbacca's blaster rifle.
All right, that's better than Chewbacca.
Number 14, you got Palp Saber.
That's fine.
Number 7, you got Force Storm. Man, everybody's getting Force Storm.
Yeah, it's 4 Stormers all the way.
Number 8, you got Jabba.
That's balls.
Apparently, this thing sucks. Number
I
12,
don't
we
think
got
your number
Padme.
generator is good.
All right, it's Google.
Really? Everybody's gotten Padme.
All right, and new one. We got a new one. You got Sarasu Mastery. Congratulations.
I think that's trash.
People will want it. Yeah, Tommy's winning so far, by the way.
Yep. All right.
It's
We
because
ready for-
Nicole opened my box.
Yeah, see, it did
The
factor
baby,
it
the
in.
baby did it.
All right.
Now you have to decrease value because of slobber.
The problem is they're all soaked.
The baby,
They're all soaked in slobber.
he does.
Uh,
Yeah.
All right, here's my box. 15 is Quicksilver Baton. All right.
Okay.
Number 6 is Entourage. I dig it.
That's good.
Number
I got some
5 is
competition.
Enfys Nest. Ooh. Number 7 is Force Storm.
Oh,
Number
we
13
all got
is
Force Storm.
Palpatine. Oh gosh. Number 17, Yoda's Spirit.
If you'd have pad made there, I think you edged me
Yeah,
out.
if you would have Padme, I think he would have beat you.
Man, I'm the one. Am I the one who didn't get Padme? Am I the
Yep.
only one?
Yep.
Yep.
Man, this is rigged. But I did get a Quicksilver, and none of you got that. Nobody got Phasma. And
No, yeah, nobody got Mega Blaster Troopers.
Nobody got Mace's.
I don't
lightsaber.
think you. I don't. Did you even have Mega Blaster? Did you set
Yep.
like the number range too small?
Nope. 1 through 17, baby. Mega Blasters was number 11.
All right.
Hey, none of us.
I
None
knew.
of
I
us
knew.
got number 4.
No one
None
got
of us
Crime
number
Lord.
4 Crime Lord.
No one.
Hey. Yeah.
This is the opposite of what will happen tomorrow.
It could very well.
So I just realized that Nicole actually isn't going to be opening my box.
Yeah, you got it.
I have to open it at the event.
Congratulations. You get
Oh
Crime
no!
Lords.
You can bring her.
Oh man, I'm gonna. Oh, she's got plans. So I am
Can you-
SOL.
Honey,
Bring
can
the
you
baby.
swing by the shop real quick just to open some
Baby
packs?
Bjorn it.
All right, so we'll move on to some Patreon questions. On top of this theme of boxes, what was the worst box that you ever opened?
Oh, it'll be the one I open Saturday.
Yeah, that he has to use in a tournament the entire time.
Yeah.
He's just gonna sit there like,
My wife is
I
never
actually,
not coming with
I
me
don't
again.
think I've ever opened a box that was because I don't really open my boxes, but I don't recall ever having a box where I was like, oh man, that's trash. I think they were all pretty good.
I'm trying to.
I don't remember specific boxes. I remember sets, and I remember Empire at War doing me real dirty with like 3 Mace Windows and 3 of those cannons and 3 K2 SOs. That I was like, what are these things?
I pulled like 6 Darksabers, but then for whatever reason, people wanted to buy Darksabers.
They were hot when Vader was
like
a thing.
It was the type. It was even no. It was
Before
before
that.
Vader. It didn't make any sense. I'm like, I kept pulling. I'm like, oh God, no! I'm pulling this card that I'm never going to be able to do anything with, and then it's like $25. I'm like, why would someone buy that for $25? People bought it.
My worst box was also Empire at War. I think I pulled a K2, a Houndstooth, a cannon, a mace. Oh God, what else is in Empire? I can't remember.
None of those
Quad
cards are that
jumper.
bad.
Yeah. I mean, there were some, I mean, Ahsoka wasn't very good, but, it had Ancients and X8, and that's probably like the only 2 good legendaries from that set. I'm trying to remember
Yeah.
what else there was.
It was neither of those.
I had a
Sabine,
box that had
right?
K2
Oh, yeah,
and
Sabine.
Ahsoka in it, without any of the big ticket ones.
Thrawn was in there, too. He was a good one.
How did you forget Sabine?
I don't know.
Oh, Ghost was in there too. I got Ghost.
Because
Yeah, I pulled a lot of ghosts.
Tommy, deep inside, I hope that she's reprinted word for word back at 20 points. So I'm just going to pretend like she's in every set.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Keep dreaming.
say things that'll never happen for 1,000, Alex.
Yeah. Master of the Council. Are you trying to tell me that's not a great card? Come on.
Love it.
Built to last, makes it redeploy. Come on, dude. Come on.
OP. It's busted.
Okay.
Busted. I also ended up with 4 Grievous.
with modified sides.
Yeah, I grabbed 3 or 4 Grievous wheel bikes too. At some, so that was
That was
pretty-
funny to watch.
Grievous wheel bike is amazing. Okay.
I've been purchasing Grievous wheel bikes, expecting there to be a run on Grievous.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you. I'm telling you.
What?
They're like
It's
$1
so good.
per.
It's
not
so good. It's so good with Grievous.
How many games have you played with it, Tommy, to confirm?
I have proxied him and played against myself several times.
Yeah. That's a weird image to see.
When I think about you,
Yeah, that's-
I play against myself.
Yeah.
What do you think about Grievous's wheel bike?
He doesn't know anybody else. When he thinks about you, he plays himself.
Interesting. That reminds me of I think it was Agent of Zion bought all the quad jumpers because he's like, yo, vehicles are about to get good, and he bought like 30 of them and tried to sell them
Vehicles did
higher.
get good,
but not quad
quad jumpers were not involved.
No, not even close.
I mean, I did that with Shadowcasters a little bit just because it was like, oh, here's one for $7, and it's like 2 days later I could have sold it for 14, so that worked out pretty well.
There you
But
go.
yeah, the Grievous wheel bikes, it's like they're $1 sometimes.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on to the next one, and these past 2 were both by Jedi Geek Girl, and this one coming up has to do with the conversation we were talking a little bit about earlier. Was kind of like upgrades versus supports because the upgrades are generally 2 wide and supports can be 3 wide. But is 2 wide dead, and does that create a stale meta by limiting the format to 3 or 4 characters?
Was the meta stale when the format was predominantly 2 wide meta? Like we just went through that pretty much until you started to see some like Snoke stuff kind of creep through or break through in the back end, but for like a while it's just 2 character.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a general perception of 2 characters being more fun to play than 3 wide, and that obviously comes down to preference. But I think it's just like if you think about Destiny and the big characters, or the iconic characters are higher costed, so oftentimes are more in 2 wide lists. So
I would
think that could
disagree
be-
with that wholeheartedly. I would say that personal preference aside, it doesn't matter 2, 3 wide. If the format has different character pairings, it's balanced. If it has enough different character pairings, that is, enough different archetypes represented. But to say that all the iconic characters are high costed is I don't think that's accurate at all. I mean, you could look at Yoda, you could look at Snoke. I mean, there are cheap support characters. I think General Grievous is not a main character, but he's an iconic character. Ahsoka is an iconic character. I think there's plenty of reasonably costed iconic characters that can fit into like a 3 wide.
But I mean, I still feel like there's like you look at Palpatine is big, Phasma is big, Obi-Wan is big, and oh gosh, who did you mention? Oh, Ahsoka. Like to me, when I'm saying iconic, I still think for the general Star Wars fan base, it like still rings true to the like original trilogy. Maybe I'm just out of touch with that, and that's fine. But like when I think of the iconic characters in this game, like Darth Vader's big as well. I don't know. Let me look at that voice crack. That was hot.
It
that
was,
was
man.
terrible.
I think I'm gonna have to go
my
downstairs and play
God.
against myself. Um,
But again, that's not like an end all be all. I'm just saying in general.
no, I agree. I'm more playing devil's advocate than anything else. There are more iconic characters at a higher point cost. I mean, we
Yeah.
all talked about ad nauseum how good in theory Vader was for the game, bringing players back because they wanted to play this giant beatstick Vader. I understand why that appeals to a lot of players, and I don't even know if Too Wide is dead. I think the only thing that really pushes Too Wide out was basically like the Snoke Afra droid meta of Way of the Force, because it
Of
just
being able to play a chicken game with
yes,
health.
you've taken your health pool and you've set it as a resource, and you're effectively spending your health and challenging your opponent to outlast you by chipping away at both of you simultaneously and just saying I have more than you do, and that kind
Yeah.
of deck is what pushes 2-wide decks out, not just like a generic 3-wide deck. So I think it's too early to say that if you're not 3-wide, you can't play. Now that said, Padme could be a character that could push the pace with indirect, where if you're able to build a deck that can be like, I'm going to sustain by gaining shields and dealing a massive amount of indirect over the course of like 2 to 3 turns, you could find yourself being better spreading out into a 3-wide.
I don't think supports being the more relevant dice card class, if that's what we're kind of going with as far as saying that. I don't think that pushes 2-wides out. I think that just that it pushes like the traditional, what we think of a 2-wide, which in many cases involve like a degree of action cheating. I think it pushed out, but I think there's been a number of like 2-wide decks that are fully capable of playing a support game.
I agree. I think support game is better at 3-wide though, just because you have expanded your health pool, which means every time, like if they're directing damage, two of your 3 damage sides are direct damage. So if you have to direct damage to 3 different places, it could give you a handful of extra actions to maybe resolve dice or roll in supports or whatever it may be. But that's a minute difference. I don't think that's as relevant as we think it might be. But also in regards to 2-wide and maybe potentially even upgrade style decks as opposed to support decks, if we were just talking about how we didn't have a ton of mitigation that hits multiple dice, then flooding the pool with dice in one action could be better.
Yeah.
And also that would play into being able to utilize powerful cards with high upside like Route. So I mean, there are things that would incentivize you to build a 2-character deck that's upgrade centric. I'm not sure what they are. That's not where my mind has been. I'm gravitating toward Padme, but I'm saying that they exist. They're out there.
Yeah, I think it's way too early to say 2-wide is dead. I mean, I think it's well alive within Mill, but I don't think that's necessarily what the angle of the question was. But yeah, I think there's a lot to be explored. I think I don't remember who said it, Scott or Tommy, but like traditional 2-wide, like you said, is action cheating. I also think people.
I said that.
Yeah, there you go, Scott, claiming his thoughts. But also like Blue Hero, like I think that's, if people think 2-wide, they think blue sticks, which in general people are starting and feeling that it's not going to be as powerful going into this new meta, and just assuming since that's dead, then all 2-wide's dead. But I think there is something to be seen that nobody's tested yet or has gone to yet with these 2-wide characters. Like, I wonder if Kess does have a pairing that'll be really good and make him relevant, but only time will tell. Shane's
You could go
probably,
back to Han Kira. I think Han Kira, with that
Han Chewie?
maybe Han Chewie.
Maybe.
I think
Maybe.
Han Kira
Maybe.
might be
Han
better.
Kira.
Just, I mean, I like the health total of both those decks, being 24. I think, is that what it ends up being? Yeah, 24. But the Han Kira can make some cash. You could play Entourage. You could have some big, damage supports out there with that deck.
Yeah, you can just run. I mean, you are kind of, just because of the deck building restrictions, you are kind of just stuck running all of the cards you can. But there's enough. But you get the Ordnance Launchers, you get the Entourage.
Like I think that's a fine place to start for a 2-buy deck in this meta. I think that you start there and you challenge people to take out your 24 health, and you start playing these. You buy into that tribe, especially once Allies of Necessity comes out. I'm the caveat here is I'm in my mind I'm drawing from the full card pool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm not speaking at all of like what the 3-week meta that will exist.
Yep. Yeah, rumor is that Allies is coming on the 11th.
That is dumb as hell. How did they not come out together?
Yes. Again, I think I said this last week. If the theory is that they don't want to release all this product at once, fine. Release it 2 weeks earlier. Like, release it in February. That's
I like how
give us the
Scott
draft,
slowed it
man.
down so that everybody could understand. That is the
Yeah.
Just
It's because I'm on the podcast, and I need things broken down for me a little bit there.
It is dumb.
barter with blood.
blood.
I can't believe you sleeved that up. Oh my gosh.
If you don't want to release everything at the same time, release the draft stuff first.
Yes. I mean, that's what they did last one. We had the draft set. That was like a whole mess of a release, but at least we had the draft set first so we could mess around with it and then obviously draft when the design set for drafting drops.
Maybe people will want to draft some like old stuff that the stores are selling for like a nickel.
Jack, if that comes out on the 11th, you know what that means, right?
A draft for my birthday?
That's a birthday draft, boy.
Back in the basement. Maybe Shane will show up.
Basement Cup.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Shane, you hear that?
The basement might be coming too competitive for him, so I wouldn't bank on that, guys.
Yeah.
We'll move on to the next one. This one is from Alan, and it says, has the large number of reprints coming out changed the number of boxes you are getting? I'm going to say no for me.
No, the fact that I have a second child on the way is what changed the number of boxes I'm getting.
Yeah, I got to look at it from the standpoint of even if I look at those reprints and say those are just cards that I don't want to see, which isn't, I mean, I guess it's kind of the case with everything here. There's those cards exist in every set. Like the number of cards that I don't have any interest in ever pulling is not higher in this set because there are reprints.
I clearly didn't learn my lesson from last.
I don't think I think this question requires a degree of rational thought that you are not capable of
Barter
when it comes to
with
when it comes to retail decisions. I'm not talking about card decisions or play decisions, but retail
Yes.
decisions, because you walked into that game store and then you immediately bought a damage deck and then did not buy the thing that you wanted to buy the damage deck for.
Listen. I will, just not yet. I will.
Next paycheck.
I will, eventually.
Next paycheck.
Yeah, probably. Well, actually, next paycheck's Friday, so whoops
Yeah.
on that one. Yikes.
Yep.
So
Damage checks come in.
I've been talking for like months, and I was like, Jack, I even went as far as to say, Jack, I don't know if I'm gonna play the next set. I think I might want to cut back on Destiny for a while. I really gotta, be financially responsible, and that slowly morphed into my brain.
Yeah,
going,
5 boxes is
You
fine.
need more boxes. Credits will do fine.
You bought 5 boxes?
No,
Dude, he's
no.
weird. Yeah, he did.
You're a savage, Brian.
He just pre-ordered another one right before we recorded.
I'll say this from the standpoint of, from a time commitment to money spent, you're probably not too bad off having a hobby that takes up all of your funny money and all of your time.
Well, I'm single. I live at home, and I don't really have a lot going on for me. So,
Yeah.
What else do I have but Destiny?
Any
Wow, that sounded really depressing.
You hear that,
Okay.
ladies?
hear that?
You hear
All
that,
right.
ladies?
Yeah.
I'm,
We'll see you guys next week.
No, Brian. See, the key to my life is that I hooked the girl and then got into Des. So
well,
it's too late
I had
for
no
her.
choice because time waits for no man. Okay. I just need more time, and there's not enough of it.
Yeah.
Tommy, what was one of your first introductions to your wife? Was it you buying $300 worth of Dragon Shield sleeves?
No, we actually had been on a few dates at that point, but I did
Okay.
get dirty looks when she checked me out at the comic book store.
No, you should have just said,
So, yeah.
now imagine what I'll spend on you. Boom. There you go. There's your pickup line. There you go, Brian. You're welcome.
We're not going to talk about anything about my past with my wife because it's all embarrassing.
Next question.
I'm not suave.
Next question.
He's not.
Is Vader still relevant? Come
Does
rotation.
Vader still have a foresight
No.
and is
got
immune to mitigation?
No. You didn't see the errata?
Okay. Hey, if that errata came out, then yeah. But if he's still got a foresight and is immune to mitigation and his lightsaber still does the same thing his lightsaber did, he's probably still relevant.
I'm obligated to say yes. As he got me into a top reason.
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, if you say Vader's relevant, I want to be clear and I want people to understand that, you know, the drop off of the amount of Vader that you're going to see, even if he is relevant, is just going to be so drastically depleted.
yeah.
Yep.
Because you saw so much Vader in the previous meta that no matter how much Vader we see this meta, it's going to feel like he's not relevant because he's not the meta. But I still think he can work. I don't think he's going to be a tier 1 deck. I think I have a hard time believing he could drop below tier 2 though, when he does have a 4 side and a 3 side and is immune to mitigation, like Scott said, and a 2 resource side,
Yeah.
which is insane.
All right, so to establish like a baseline for relevant, let's say something like last meta, Lando Wedge. I'd say that was relevant in the sense that it did place in some tournaments. It could conceivably have won tournaments. It could win a tournament. That would be like my baseline for relevant.
Yeah, I think Vader would check that box.
So Vader would at least have to rise to that. I think he has to at least rise to that level because, again, you're just dealing with something that can just I roll and I just killed you.
Yeah, I think he'll still be around, and I think it'll be interesting to see if he starts to go into red a little bit. Like before, it was just yellow, definitely, because Friends and High is just amazing, obviously. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I think he'll still be around, like both of you guys said, for the reasons you said as well. But I'm interested to
Is
see.
Vader a leader?
Do not know. I can look it up real quick. But yeah, I just don't think he will, obviously, and I don't think anybody is saying he will be. He's a character Sith. Yeah, he's not going to be the 50% of winning regional decks come rotation type thing, but he's still going to be.
If he is, they.
Yes. All right, and another relevancy question: is Tarkin Snoke still a thing post rotation?
Negative.
Hard, definitive.
Yeah, definitively, I don't think it's a thing anymore.
I don't think you have enough little tiny baby dice. You don't have anything to play for free.
No, there's no zero cost dice, so you're paying for everything. You're basically looking at like things like Malice, things like Force Jump. I don't think you're gonna find anything that fits very well in there. I mean, you can't even pair up with things like Energy Bow. Like you just got modified range sides that you can't get anything out of. I don't see it. I mean, yeah, you could still fist turn 1, which is phenomenal, but you just can't fist and flood the board with zero cost. Like you can't fist Holocron and speed in one turn, which you could, before.
Mm-hmm.
And before you could even do things like if you didn't fist, you could still play things like the LS1 cannon,
Yep.
and then still 2 other zero cost dice cards. So immediately you were able to turn the heat up to a point where you could potentially almost push 2 character decks out of a meta with a deck like that, but it didn't because it wasn't that meta defining. But I mean, that's what your drop off is. Just it's too significant. If you can't deal 7 to 10 indirect turn 1, I don't think that deck will succeed.
Yeah,
and you're also not
because
going
it's
to be able to
indirect
survive.
damage.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to survive like you could before because you lost Illusion.
Yeah, you're not going to get an extra turn out of Tarkin and his.
No,
power.
Tarkin is going to die, and once that power action's off the table, and that also eliminates Snoke's power action, you're way behind.
Yep, I agree with that. That just does it for our Patreon questions. We'll start to sign out. Do you guys have any final thoughts on what has been said so far?
Well, I got one final thing. What battlefield is the best out of the new battlefields?
2 shields.
We're back to that with an assumption that something in this RG is going to be directed at Theed.
Yes. Nothing overly interests me. I kind of do like the military camp. The power action activate up to 2 of your characters that share a subtype. If one of those characters is a trooper, you may reroll one of its character dice. Just because of what Tommy was talking about earlier, now flooding the board is a very good strategy because Mind Trick is not a thing anymore. And just, if you have 2 characters that both have an upgrade on them and you get both them in the pool, I think that could be pretty good. But nothing else oh gosh, what was the other one? I think Weta Palace, is that might be Allies of Necessity though,
Or a draft, one of those, yeah.
it's like it's got a power action and a claim. The power action is either like put a resource on it or take all the resources on it. Claim is put a resource on it. So by round 2, you make up what you would have had with Theed anyways. It's just you're not getting at the first round. And so for powerful decks or for fast decks, that's still a good one. So those two are the ones that are on my radar currently. But also 2 shields is, I think, going to be relevant again.
I really like Mean Streets of Corellia. It's a claim you may spot a scoundrel who plays a resource on this battlefield. You may play an event from your hand decreasing its cost by the number of resources on this battlefield. I don't know. If we're going with the whole scoundrel theme, I just think it's kind of cool.
I just think it's limiting in the sense that like you have to claim to play an event, so you're saving an event for the end of your round, and you're going to decrease the cost. So you can have like a blowout, like in the crosshairs or something like that. But,
yeah.
I mean, how many times is your last action in a round to play mitigation and then your opponent claims behind you?
Yeah, no, I mean it's still it's relevant. I'm just saying it's limiting, and I don't know. It's not my, especially because in a scoundrel deck you're probably spreading out with entourage and the hired guns. I mean, there's just, I don't see it synergizing well with that.
Okay, I'll just take 2 shields then.
I mean, I like it in the standpoint of it's a battlefield that you can bring that could very easily not benefit your opponent at all.
Right.
Like if they're not playing any scoundrels, then it does nothing for them.
It's that Death Watch hideout, dog. Spot Satine cries.
Yeah, but you still get the resource from that.
You still get the resource.
Yeah, I know. Everybody gets a resource, and then if you get Spot Satine.
No, I don't want anybody to get anything. I like the
yeah,
salt
I'm playing
flats.
a support deck,
Yeah.
so I'm playing the most
Yeah.
like
I like
blah
the
battlefield.
I like the salt
Preferably
flats.
landing dock.
Just turn one of your leader die to any side. We got some leaders with some sides on them.
Yeah.
Such as Padme Amidala.
3 focus.
Yeah. Or just
Impulsive
any
is good.
Mace has got two focus. Kess has got 2 focus. You got some big like leader sides on this in this set.
Agreed.
Palpatine a leader?
He might
He
just
is.
he?
Palpatine is a leader.
Congratulations, pal. You made it.
I mean, he is at that point ruling the Empire, so
That's fair.
that would seem to be. If we're going to say leadership,
He'll be the first one on the list. Yeah, I think we're back to decks with battlefields that specifically benefit them, and also if they're slow, just bringing a irrelevant battlefield and taking 2 shields. Anything else, guys? All right, I'll start to close out. As always, guys, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and yeah, if you just want to talk to us, we also have a Patreon, which gives access to our Discord. And with that, for the $5 tier, as you saw on our page, we're going to be giving every $5 and above a alt art of Han and Chewie, so both of them 2-for-1 deal. And those are done by Parker Simpson artwork, and they look great. But also on top of that, tomorrow night or Thursday night, whatever day you're listening, that could be tonight if you're listening on Thursday. So Thursday the 28th, Convergence Day at 9 p.m. Eastern, Brian and I are going to stream some games. We'll probably play like 2 or 3, and we'll have some stuff to give away, including a set of the Han Solo and Chewie alt arts. We're going to give away a full art mat of the Han and Chewie that Parker Simpson also did. And lastly, we have Arbits tokens. They are on an Etsy shop. They look really nice, really clean, so we're going to use those tokens for our stream games, and also we'll be giving away a set of 8 shield tokens to people watching as well. So if you're interested in grabbing those things, make sure you're tuning into our stream tomorrow night, and obviously thank you to Parker Simpson and Arbits for hitting us up with that stuff. And I guess the last announcement, I guess Brian, you're officially on the team now at this point. Let's just get it out there, man.
Woo!
Whoa, barter with blood.
Well, wait, yeah, and also
Can we like redact that decision possibly?
Oh.
we'll
get a revote.
we also got to talk about his worst event, but that'll come at a later date when we talk about that.
Oh, there's plenty of them. I don't know which one you're referring to.
The one that you actually, of all the events in an article that you picked, the one that you picked for the worst event.
Oh, I thought you were referring to the events we've actually gone to, not... Oh, yeah, no, that choice is terrible. Terrible. I'm going to get a lot of flack for that.
Yes, as you should.
Both Tommy and Brian did lose to Poe Biggs this past Monday. So
Didn't I? Didn't all 3 of us lose?
oh yeah, I guess all 3 of you. Oh wow, I'm the best. Yeah.
Congratulations, Scott. You're the weekly master champion of the world.
Yep.
Cool. So I think that's about everything I have for us to announce. Yeah, the big thing is just the stream tomorrow. And if you're looking to be on our Patreon to get the alt arts, you have to do it by the 31st, which is Sunday, because that'll be our April rewards. So that's that. Brian, you want to give the sign off for us?
Hey!